Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed, Shlita. Hope everyone is doing well today as we continue our learning. Please continue davening for Chaylei Tzvah Ganei Yisrael, for Shalom L'chol Petzuei Yisrael, and the safe return of our hostages. We dedicate our learning each and every day to Ilin Nishmas, Seren Daniel Shimben Harav Doron V'Sheli Hashem Ekum Damo. We'll reach the last section as far as Nuschaot goes, and we'll move on to another section next time in Mirta Hashem. So let's get right to it. Bnei Eidos Shonos HaMispalim B'Yachad. B'Makomos Rabim Mispalim Bnei Kol Eidos B'Yachad. So sometimes, in a lot of places, you have people from different traditions davening together. Kach Mekubal B'Yeshivas Rabos Kedei Shel Litzar Perid Yom Yomi Ben HaTalmidim. This happens, let's say, in yeshiva, where boys come from all different backgrounds, so we don't want to create a daily disruption and separation between the students. V'kach mekubal b'yeshuvim ketanim, and also perhaps in smaller settlements, smaller yeshuvim in Israel, she'ein behem maspik anashim k'dei l'hakim l'chol eda mini gadol mekayim tefillos v'shirei Torah. There's not enough from each community. Let's say you don't have enough Sephardim, enough Ashkenazim, enough etc. So therefore they're all together in one shul, because together they couldn't make, separately they couldn't make different shuls or different shiurim, etc. So it used to be that in this situation they would have one unified nusach for everybody, so that they shouldn't confuse and mess up the order of davening. And also, we don't want to have separate minhagim in the same shul. He quotes here in Egros Moshe Tshuva from Moshe Feinstein, or Chaim Daled Lamed. Ulam, and this is something that perhaps I alluded to or spoke about the other day. Kayom batzibur hadati shuragil makir haminhagim hashonim. Nowadays, in a religious community, again, we're talking about Israel, in a religious community in Israel, where people are used to and they recognize the different customs, al pi horas harabanim, according to the psak of the rabbis, nogan l'seis l'chol eda bitu b'sidra hatfilah. Each stream, each community, each eda has an expression in how they daven. So they would go after the chazan. It's exactly what I spoke about the other day. If the chazan is Sephardi, they'll daven Sephardi, because everybody in the community knows how to do that. And if it's Ashkenazi chazan, they'll daven Ashkenazi, because even the Sephardim know how to daven Ashkenazis. And some say that even if a Yemenite gets up as the chazan, even though their pronunciation is very, very much different than what we are used to, nevertheless, he could daven with his Havarat Temanit. And since all the minhagim are kosher and recognized by everyone, this does not constitute creating a separation in the community, and it's not going to cause any machlokas. Now, again, I'm speaking to you from the diaspora, from northeastern United States, where just even saying these words just boggles your brain, because our shuls are so formal. But when you go to Israel, you see this quite often. So here the Rav is going to get a little bit personal. If you go to the main minyan in the yeshiva in Har Bracha, which parenthetically I should add, that those of you who are in Israel or are planning to visit Israel, I highly, highly recommend going to visit Har Bracha. It is one of the most beautiful places in Israel, and the yeshiva itself, which is the center of Har Bracha, is just a phenomenal, stunning place, not to mention a tremendous Makom Torah. I've been there a number of times, and it is so exciting to go there, so I highly recommend going. And when there are big differences between the different customs, we go after the mekatzrim. So what does that mean? Limashal. Be made somos Bahab. Let's say we have the fast days of Bahab, which are done after Sukkot and after Pesach, certain fast days that some people observe. Shashkenazim nogan lomer behem slichos, that the Ashkenazim say slichos, ein omrim slichos betzibur. We don't say slichos. This is talking about in Har Bracha. They don't say slichos in public. V'kein ein omrim bekol as shir hashirim v'nei Kabbalah Shabbos. And they also don't say shir hashirim like the Sephardim do every Friday night. K'fi shenogan rabbi has-Sephardim. V'chein ein omrim as seder ha-karbanos betzibur. And they also don't say the karbanos in public. And people want to say it, we'll do it before davening. In other words, whatever the custom is, we'll take the shorter of the customs. We're not going to lengthen the davening just to accommodate every single custom. So karbonos, shira shirim, slichas, whatever it might be. Amnam. Kasher ein midubar ba'arichos mikvida, but we're not talking about an overly lengthening of the davening based on a minhag. Kamo b'siyum hatfila, so at the end of davening, she'asvar demarichim b'shir shel yom hupitim hakatoris, where the Sephardic custom is where not only they say the shir shel yom, they also say what we Ashkenazim say on Shabbos, they say pitim hakatoris, or the longer tachnun on Mondays and Thursdays. Holchen achar chazan, you go after whoever is leading. The chazan misdarez ma'at kedei litzchashev b'Ashkenazim shanutz shlefneihem katzer, and the chazan should move it along a little bit so that we know that we're not trying to schlep out and lengthen the tefillah. And even though that according to Sephardic custom, the chazan says every single word out loud, all the piyutim, all the chapters of Tehillim, all the blessings of Kriya Shema, kedei lahotzi es misha eni yodei likro, to be motzi anybody who does not know how to read, that's a Sephardic custom. So when a Sephardi is leaving the davening, again, not to lengthen the davening, he'll just say the first and the last lines of the mizmor out loud as we normally do. Because everybody in the community knows how to read. And reading the entire thing out loud would schlep out the davening, and would disturb the kavana of some of those davening there. The ha'araha klalit here, so the general psak is whatever is recited with the voice of the community. So we go after the chazan. Whatever is said quietly, so whatever's out loud, we go after the chazan. Whatever's said quietly, as we said, you say your nusach when you're davening quietly, but whatever's out loud, you follow whatever the chazan is. So if the chazan is Ashkenazi, we'll do out loud Ashkenazi, out loud kedusha. If the chazan is Sephardi, we do Sephardi kedusha. We're not really careful with this. If you want to daven even quietly what the chazan is davening, that's fine. Even if a person, let's say, wants to say your own kedusha, Sephardi chazan, and you want to say Ashkenazi kedusha, you could do it, but you have to do so quietly, not to disturb. We don't want to disturb anyone. Also, you don't want to create any outward separation between you and the chazan. If the chazan davening follows your mother's nusach, even though this is not your set nusach of davening because you would follow your father's, maybe you should follow the entire nusach of the chazan, which is your mother's nusach, because you do have an honor that is due to the tradition of your mother. You might find this, that let's say you're davening in the Nusach Sfard Minyan, and they say the Yud Gimel Midos Rachamim at Tachanun. It's never a bad thing to be able to say Hashem, Hashem Kel Rachum, to say the 13 attributes of mercy. And all of these and the aforementioned topics, and of course, since we're dealing with differences of Nuschaos and the possibility of pirud and machlokas, we should always defer to the Rav of the community to decide what to do. So there are ways to make it work. Again, much of what I just shared with you, if not all of it, applies only in Eretz Yisrael. In America, to my knowledge, I have never seen it. If anyone has, please let me know. But I have never seen it where we follow whatever the chazan is davening in a set shul. I'm not talking about a makeshift minyan in the middle of nowhere. I'm talking about a shul. Every shul has a set nusach. Many of them even have bylaws, constitutions that say that this is the nusach of the shul. We shall not be changed. If you're going to have a different nusach, you have to have a separate minyan somewhere else. So again, this is sort of a bit of anathema to the American mind, but it's always good to broaden our horizons. So please keep that in mind. Please continue davening for Chayalei Tzva G'nai Yisrael, for Shalom L'chol Petuei Yisrael, safe return of our hostages. Nishmat Saren Daniel Shimon Rav Jerome Shem Kedemo. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and we'll see you here next time.